Recently, AMD officially revealed a lot of information about the upcoming Ryzen 7000 series desktop processors, based on Zen 4 microarchitecture during the Computex 2022 event on May 23rd, and then went on an interview spree talking to multiple online publications to share even more details. So, in this video I will tell you everything about the next generation of AMD CPUs. That includes specs, such as number of cores on all the models, power consumption and core frequencies, as well as release date, performance, and at the end I will share the details on the new AMD 600 series motherboards that will be released along with the Ryzen 7000 series processors. Before that, let me quickly tell you about Squarespace. With Squarespace you can easily build your website without having any web development knowledge. I built my first ever website using one of their fully customizable templates to make it look personal, and can confirm that the whole experience was a breeze. Currently, I use this website as a portfolio, but there is room to grow with features like online stores to sell physical or digital products, as well as powerful analytics that help you understand where the visits and sales are coming from to improve the website and build a better marketing strategy. Try it for free at squarespace.com, and when you are ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/ivadim to save 10% off your first website or domain. The links are in the description below. Ryzen 7000 series desktop CPUs will support DDR5 only, no DDR4. Every CPU will have an integrated RDNA 2 graphics, although it will be very basic. Just good enough for display output and video encoding-decoding, including AV1. But don't expect to game on it. With Ryzen 7000, AMD will stick to the same number of cores as in the current generation. There will be a 6-core 12-thread Ryzen 5 7600X, 8-core 16-thread Ryzen 7 7800X, 12-core 24-thread Ryzen 9 7900X, and the flagship Ryzen 9 7950X will have 16 cores and 32 threads. Not very exciting, right? But what is exciting is that AMD doubled the L2 cache to 1 MB per core. Additionally, 7950X will have a higher 170 watt TDP. That is a significant increase compared to 105 watts on Ryzen 9 5950X. And there is a good reason for it, I quote, "This new TDP group will enable considerably more compute performance for high core count CPUs in heavy compute workloads." If you ask me, this is a good change. It makes little sense to have the same power constraints for an 8-core and a 16-core CPU. A 16-core model needs more juice to perform at the peak of its capabilities. The other models will keep their original TDP values. That is 105 watts for 7900X and 7800X, and 65 watts for 7600X. By the way, all the CPU coolers that are compatible with the current generation will fit the new generation as well. Probably the most impressive improvement over the previous generation is the core clock frequencies. Ryzen 7000 can boost all cores to over 5 GHz, most cores can easily run at 5.5 GHz, and single core boost on some samples reach as high as 5.8 GHz. That is without overclocking and with a normal cooler that an average person would use at home. These incredible core clocks are reserved for the best chips that will be used in 7950X. Lower tier processors will get lower clock frequencies as usual. Of course, these are not the final boost values as the CPUs are still in the testing phase, so the final products may have different clock speeds. However, it is a good indication of what you can expect from Ryzen 7000 in general. It will be a very good improvement over the current Ryzen 5000 series processors and is aimed to compete and possibly even outperform Intel's yet to be released 13th generation of desktop processors codenamed Raptor Lake, which is expected to release late Q3, early Q4 this year. Speaking of release dates, according to the latest leaks, Ryzen 7000 series is expected to launch sometime in Q4 this year, following Intel 13th Gen. Unofficially, AMD has Ryzen 7000 3D processors in the works as well. The latest rumors state that these CPUs may launch sometime next year and bring a further 10 to 15% improvement in gaming compared to the regular 7000 series models. Now let's talk about the performance. At Computex 2022, AMD showed the Blender rendering timelapse of Intel i9-12900K versus what I believe is a 16-core Ryzen 9 7950X. The Ryzen processor completed the render much faster, 46% faster to be precise. This gave us an opportunity to take that data and estimate how other Ryzen 7000 CPUs will perform in Blender. Keep in mind that this is a very rough estimation, designed to give you a general idea of what to expect. 7950X will obviously take the performance crown, and 7900X should be a bit faster than 5950X. What excites me the most is that a simple 6-core 7600X should be as fast as an 8-core 5800X. That is great news for 3D artists on a budget. And here are the leaked Cinebench R23 multi-core scores, so take it with a grain of salt. But this does look similar to the Blender results. Both apps scale CPU performance pretty well, so I think that this is more or less an accurate representation of what you should expect from Ryzen 7000 series overall. In terms of gaming performance, Ryzen 7000 is rumored to bring a similar level of improvement to what Ryzen 5000 brought over Ryzen 3000. I took the liberty to put it on the chart for you to witness. It is glorious to see that a mid-range Ryzen 5 7600X will be beating all the current generation flagship CPUs for a fraction of the price. The last thing left to discuss is the new 600 series motherboards and the AM5 ecosystem. AMD introduced a new X670 Extreme motherboard tier, or X670E for short. These will bring more connectivity and features than any X570 motherboard currently has. It is the new tier with more slots, ports, extreme overclocking, and PCIe Gen 5 everywhere. X570 will be replaced by the X670, bringing new features like PCIe Gen 5 for storage and graphics cards, Wi-Fi 6E, and USB 4 ports. B650 has a lot of features stripped off compared to the X670 and X670E. However, it remains a good option for most gaming PC builds. It gets PCIe Gen 4 instead of Gen 5, which is not a huge deal because Gen 4 is still fairly new and has high bandwidth when it comes to feeding graphics cards and SSDs, so I don't expect it to be outdated for many years. And you still get one Gen 5 SSD slot for your main storage. By the way, B650 motherboards are also USB 4 and Wi-Fi 6E capable. Overall, there are a lot of good things to look forward to with the Ryzen 7000 series. I just hope that DDR5 prices will become much more affordable before it launches. Like this video if it was helpful and subscribe for more. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.